My darling Gemini, I see you. I see what you have been carrying. And I want to start this conversation by telling you something specific that the cards keep showing me with unusual clarity. The answer you have been waiting for is about to arrive. Not the new question that has been forming. Not the unexpected piece of news you did not see coming. The specific answer you have been awaiting, sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months, sometimes for years, to a specific question, situation, or possibility that has been hanging unresolved in your life. You know what answer I am talking about, my darling. You may have several pending in different areas of your life, but there is one in particular that your body has been waiting for. The one you check your phone for. The one that has been the silent question underneath ordinary conversations. The one that comes back to your mind in unguarded moments. The one whose resolution would change how you walk through the next chapter. That answer. The cards are clear. Within the next 6 weeks, between July 23rd, when Mercury, your ruling planet, stations direct, and August 12th, when the eclipse perfects, the answer arrives. Stay with me. What I am about to share is specific to the answer approaching you and the work it requires from you to receive it well. I am Madame Aurora, 35 years studying the stars from my office in Manhattan, and I want to be honest with you, my dear Gemini, because honesty about waiting for an answer is one of the most particular forms of patience your sign carries. Gemini is the messenger sign. Your relationship with information is more intimate than that of any other sign. You live through the exchange of language, the receiving and sending of messages, the constant flow of ideas between minds. When something specific is owed to you in answer form, a yes or no on a job application, a decision from someone you love, a medical result, a financial determination, a clarification of a relationship's direction, a response to a proposal you sent into the world, the absence of the answer is more disorienting for your sign than it is for others. Your sign is built for information flow. Waiting in informational silence costs your sign more than other signs realize. The 4 weeks of Mercury retrograde have been particularly heavy for you because Mercury rules your sign. The retrograde has been holding the answer in suspension. The Mercury direct station on July 23rd releases the held communication. For some answers, the release is immediate. The response arrives within the first week. For others, the release unfolds across the corridor. The answer comes in pieces, in conversations, in messages spread over the 6-week window. In every case, the answer arrives before August 12th. The cards are clear about this. Before I take you any further, let me tell you what the cards are showing me about the answer approaching you, my darling. I pulled 3 cards before this reading, one for what the answer concerns, one for the form the answer arrives in, and one for what you are meant to do once you receive it. The card I pulled for what the answer concerns is the Two of Swords combined with the Lovers reversed. Two of Swords is the card of suspended decision, the figure blindfolded with 2 crossed swords, waiting for the obstruction to lift so the decision can be made. The Lovers reversed adds the layer that the suspended decision is connected to a relationship, partnership, alignment, or choice that involves another person or another path. The answer concerns a choice that has been frozen because the information necessary to choose has been withheld. The card I pulled for the form the answer arrives in is the Page of Wands combined with the Ace of Swords. Page of Wands is the messenger of new energy, a person, a message, a moment that carries spark, urgency, and the beginning of movement. Ace of Swords is the card of clarity, of truth cutting through ambiguity, of the moment when the answer becomes definitive rather than possible. Together they show that the answer arrives with clarity. It is not ambiguous when it comes. You will know it is the answer. There will not be doubt about what has been communicated. The third card, for what you are meant to do once you receive it, is the Empress upright combined with the Eight of Wands. Empress is the card of sovereign receiving, meeting what arrives from a position of fullness rather than scarcity, accepting without needing to immediately give back. Eight of Wands is the card of swift, decisive movement after receiving. Together they show that once the answer arrives, you receive it fully, and then move with what it has clarified. You do not negotiate the answer once it is given. You do not interpret it against your hopes. You receive what was actually communicated. Then you act on what that information allows. Now, before I take you any further, my darling, I want to pause for just a moment. If what I am sharing is landing for you, if the cards are confirming the specific waiting you have been carrying, tap that little like button just below this video. It is a tiny gesture, but it tells YouTube to bring this work to more Gemini souls who have been waiting in informational silence for too long. Other Geminis are watching this video right now, recognizing the same weighting. Your like helps them find this reading, and if you are not yet subscribed, this is the moment. I am preparing the August 12th eclipse reading for Geminis. The eclipse on Jupiter in your communication house may be the most communication-defining day of your decade. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss it. Now let me show you what is structurally arranging the answer. Let me speak in plain language about what is happening in your chart, my darling. There are 5 structural pieces that together create the conditions for the answer to arrive in the next 6 weeks. The first piece is the most important. Your ruling planet Mercury stations direct on July 23rd in your second house of money. Mercury is the planet of information itself. When Mercury moves forward after retrograde, information that has been held in suspension begins to flow. For Gemini specifically, because Mercury rules your sign, the volume of information that releases in the first 10 days after Mercury direct can be unusually large. The professional answer, the financial determination, the personal communication, the family clarification, all of these can release in the same week. Be prepared for the wave. Some of what arrives is the answer you have been awaiting. Some is additional information that comes alongside it. Track everything carefully in the first days after July 23rd. The second piece, Jupiter has been in your third house of voice, writing, and communication since June 30th, beginning 13 months of expansion in your sign's natural domain. The third house is your house of news, messages, and the information that shapes your life. Jupiter expanding the news channel for 13 months means that significant communications flow through your life at elevated volume during this period. The answer you are awaiting is one piece of the larger communication expansion. The Jupiter context is what makes the structural delivery of the answer reliable rather than uncertain. The third piece. The lunar nodes shift on July 26th onto your sign's natural axis. The third ninth axis. The destiny corridor lands directly on the axis your sign is built around. The north node enters Aquarius for your 5th house. The south node enters Leo for your 3rd house, where Jupiter just arrived. The south node activating your communication house means that some of the answers arriving in this window come from people, situations, or contexts from your past that are completing what was left unresolved. The north node in your 5th house means that some of the answers open chapters of joy, creativity, romance, and play that have been waiting on the resolution. The fourth piece, the eclipse on August 12th, lands on Jupiter in your 3rd house, conjunct the south node. The eclipse is the crystallization moment for the news corridor. Whatever has not arrived earlier in the window arrives by the eclipse itself. The eclipse does not bring entirely new information, it confirms or completes what has been moving through the previous weeks. By August 12th, the answer is definitive. There is no further waiting after the eclipse on the specific question that has been pending. The 5th piece. Mars is in your sign through August 11th. Mars in your sign gives you the energy to act on the answer when it arrives. Some answers require quick action. A window to accept, decline, negotiate, or respond. Mars provides the decisive energy. You will not be too exhausted or too uncertain to act when the moment requires it. The Mars support is the activation energy that makes the post-answer movement possible. Wait, before I continue, I need to interrupt myself, my darling, because some of you watching this are now wondering, Aurora, what if the answer is not the one I want? What if after all this waiting, what arrives is not the yes I have been hoping for? Let me be honest with you. The cards are clear that the answer arrives. The cards do not specify, for every Gemini watching, whether the answer is the yes or the no you have been hoping for. For some of you, the answer is the yes. The job offer comes. The medical result is positive. The relationship clarifies in the direction of continuation. The financial determination favors you. For others, the answer is the no. The position goes to another candidate. The result requires a different path. The relationship clarifies in the direction of ending or change. The financial determination does not favor you. Both are real possibilities. Both arrive within the corridor. The work is to receive whichever answer comes, the yes with gratitude and the no with grace. And here is the deeper truth, my darling. Receiving a no after long waiting is, in its own way, also a gift. The waiting was costing you. The unresolved question was keeping you in suspension. Even an unwelcome answer ends the suspension. Even an unwelcome answer allows you to begin the next chapter from clarity rather than from ambiguity. The Gemini who receives a no in the next 6 weeks is not without grace. They are simply being moved toward a different chapter than the one they had been hoping for. The no clears the path for what is actually available. Trust the answer that arrives, whichever form it takes. Pause for just one moment, my darling. I know this is a lot. I have been pulling cards and reading the stars for hours before recording this, and what is coming through for Gemini specifically is unusually clear. If this reading is bringing you value, would you do me 3 small things? Like this video. It tells YouTube this matters. Subscribe and turn on the bell if you have not yet. I am preparing the August 12th eclipse reading for Geminis. Possibly the most consequential single day of your decade for any Gemini whose work touches words or communication. You absolutely cannot miss it. And write to me in the comments. Tell me one thing. What question are you waiting for the answer to? Even a single word. Job, relationship, medical, family, financial. Other Geminis in this comment section are reading the comments and recognizing the same waiting. We are becoming a community now. Thousands of Geminis walking through the same answer corridor together. Come be part of it. Now let me continue. Let me now describe what the felt experience of receiving the answer will be like for you, my darling. Because the felt experience matters as much as the answer itself. It feels like a held breath releasing. The waiting has been holding part of your body in tension you have not fully named. When the answer arrives, the tension begins to release. The release happens whether the answer is welcome or unwelcome. The body knows the difference between waiting and knowing, and the shift from waiting to knowing is itself a relief, even when the knowing requires you to adjust your plans. It feels like permission to begin the next decision. Many Geminis have been postponing not just the question itself, but all the secondary decisions that depend on the answer. Whether to move, whether to commit, whether to launch, whether to invest, whether to end or continue. When the answer arrives, the secondary decisions become available. You can begin to plan from facts rather than from possibilities. The activation of the secondary decisions is part of the gift of the answer. It feels like reconnection with your own preference. The waiting has often required you to suppress your own preference, because expressing it felt premature without the answer. Once the answer arrives, your preference becomes relevant again. You can want the next thing. You can articulate what you actually want, not just what you have been positioning yourself to want, depending on the answer. The reconnection with your own preference is the deeper reorientation that the answer makes possible. It feels like an end of one specific tension and the beginning of new energy. The answer does not eliminate all uncertainty in your life. Other questions remain. But this particular question, this particular waiting, is over. The specific energy released by the resolution of this question becomes available for other things. You sleep better, you concentrate better. The mental real estate that the question has been occupying becomes free for the next chapter. I want to interrupt myself one more time, my darling, because there is a shadow side to receiving the answer, and I would not be honest with you if I did not name it. Some of you will receive the answer and grieve, even if it is the answer you wanted. This is the part most readings do not address. The waiting has been a particular kind of relationship with the unknown future. When the answer comes, even when it is yes, the relationship with the unknown ends. You move into the relationship with the known. The transition can include grief for the version of yourself who lived in the question, for the openness that the not knowing preserved, for the multiple futures that were possible while the answer was pending. The grief is part of the integration. The cards have a name for this. The Six of Cups combined with the Hanged Man. Six of Cups is the card of looking backward, of nostalgia for what was. Hanged Man is the suspension that has shaped you. Together they show that releasing the suspension can include grieving the version of yourself who lived inside it. If you experience grief when the answer arrives, do not interpret it as evidence that something is wrong. The body integrates change through grief, even when the change is welcome. Let the grief move. The grief is the bridge into the chapter the answer makes possible. Let me give you a small ritual, my darling, you can do on the evening of July 23rd when Mercury, your ruling planet, stations direct. This is your answer receiving ritual. Find a quiet space. Your desk is good. Your reading corner is good. The place where you actually communicate, write, message, work. Light a single yellow candle and a single light blue candle. Yellow for Mercury, your ruling planet. Light blue for clarity. Place a piece of citrine, aquamarine, or moonstone beside them. Place your phone on the table in front of you, turned off, screen dark. The phone is the symbol of the channel through which the answer may arrive. Sit, take 7 slow breaths, then say, out loud, 3 times. I am ready to receive the answer. I trust that what arrives is what is meant to arrive. I will receive whichever answer comes. 3 times. Slowly. Open your journal, write the date, then write 3 short responses. The first, the specific question I have been waiting for an answer to is, complete it. Be precise. Name the question as clearly as you can articulate it. The second, if the answer is yes, what becomes possible is, complete it. List what you have been holding in reserve for the affirmative outcome. The third, if the answer is no, what becomes available is, complete it. List the alternative paths, the redirected energy, the different chapter that the negative outcome opens. Do not minimize. Trust that there is a real chapter available, even if the answer is not what you hoped for. Sign your name, close the journal, let the candles burn down. The answer receiving ritual is complete. Within the next 6 weeks, what is meant to arrive will arrive. You have prepared yourself to receive it well. My dear Gemini, before I let you go, 3 small things I want to say. 1. If any part of this reading has brought you the recognition you have been looking for, even one card, even one structural piece, tap that like button. It is the simplest way to tell YouTube to bring this work to more Gemini souls who have been waiting for an answer for too long. Your like helps them find this reading. 2. Subscribe and turn on the bell. I am preparing the August 12th eclipse breakdown for Geminis, possibly the most communication-defining day of your decade. You absolutely cannot miss it. 3. Write to me in the comments. The question you are waiting for the answer to. Even a single word. Job, relationship, medical, family, financial, creative. Other Geminis in this comment section are reading the same words and recognizing the same waiting. We are building a community here, and you are part of it. I read every single comment, truly. And one more small thing. If you know another Gemini who has been waiting for a specific answer for longer than is fair, share this video with her. You may not realize how much one share matters. It is how this work finds the Gemini who need it. Thank you, my darling. This community is becoming something I never expected, and you are part of it. July 23rd, July 26th, August 12th. Write the dates down. The stars are with you. Your ruling planet Mercury stations direct on July 23rd. The structural release of the held answer. The lunar nodes shift on July 26th onto your sign's natural axis. The destiny corridor activating. The eclipse on August 12th lands on Jupiter in your communication house. The crystallization moment. Within this 6-week corridor, the answer arrives. Receive it fully, whichever form it takes. The yes with gratitude. The no with grace. Trust that the resolution itself is the gift, even when the resolution requires you to adjust the path forward. The version of you who emerges from this corridor is the version who has received the answer and begun to move on what it has clarified. I am Madame Aurora, from Manhattan, and I love you, my dear Gemini. I will see you in August for the eclipse breakdown.